I want to get to football in just a second. I promise I do. But I have heard that perhaps you are a huge fan of The Sopranos, and I have just watched that for the first time within the last year. Are you a big fan of that show?
I'm a huge fan of that show. It's definitely number one all time. Surprised it took you that long to watch it, but at least you've seen it.
I was just about to say, are you ashamed of me for taking that long to watch it? I apologize.
No, you've seen it. I didn't watch it probably till I was in college, so I waited a little bit too.
I was wondering what age you watched that, because it's like, man, your parents let you watch that when you were like just turning 13 years old.
I watched it in college, and I've seen it several times.
Best character is easily Paulie Walnuts, though, right? Just because
just the comic relief. I mean, you can't beat Paulie.
Is it ever a tough transition, though, because you can't act like that on the show with the language, with the violence, when you get out to regular society? Because when someone disrespects my honor outside it, I wanted to say forget about it and then do something else, but I was like, hold on, can't do that.
No, you got to bring yourself back to real life there after you binge about 6 or 7 episodes in a day.
Is that at least part of the reason you continued your football career, so you could take out some of that aggression and violence Soprano style on people?
Oh, it's pretty good.
That sounded like a yes to me.
I feel like it was.
Now, in terms of football, we're up here in the radio booth observing practice. I did notice that at one point it looked like a period was starting and you out-sprinted every other offensive lineman. I don't know if they were apathetic or knew that they were going to lose, but it looked like you smoked all of them. How are you feeling about that?
I'm feeling pretty good. We try to hit, on Saturdays we've got our numbers where we try to hit a certain miles per hour throughout practice, so you got to hit it at some point during practice. So when you see guys starting to take off and sprint, they're trying to hit their number before practice ends.
So you have a quota. You have a quota of miles per hour you have to accomplish throughout the week?
No, just on the practice before, so that would be Saturday practice.
Okay.
Yeah, it's part of like priming your body to get ready for the game.
Does it ever make you upset how much faster maybe some other positions can go on the football field?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the miles per hour are definitely, they're not the same for every position. So
what's your highest then? Do you have a highest number that you've hit?
No, they just give you if you've done it, check. If you haven't, you got to do it. So gotcha. I don't know exactly how fast what would be good for an offensive lineman.
Yeah, and I want to know, what is the highest
maybe
for
like
some
15?
of these receivers? Yeah.
Receivers are up there, 20-ish. 17, 18, 19, 20.
Wow.
Do you feel like now we've given you something to talk with the coaching staff about and maybe get more information about this?
Yeah. No, I'll break it down with them, get back to you.
All right. I'm looking forward to that.
See, Zach, here's the problem. I have a feeling that you go ask the question and they just shake their head. They're like, you don't want to know. And that's and you're going to be mad. And that's what I would they would say that for me at least.
Yeah, you're on a need-to-know basis, so we'll let you know.
Okay, fair enough. Now, in terms of we're getting everybody hyped up, we got the Cowboys game with the Texans tomorrow right here on your home of the Cowboys, 105.3 The Fan. Do you get an idea in the preseason games of, here's kind of what we're thinking drive-wise for how long you'll be out there, or is there a protocol for some of these preseason games for somebody like you?
Yeah, I mean, the coaches kind of give a heads up on what they're thinking, and I think the biggest thing is just getting out there and getting used to the feel of the game, kind of how it flows, and also a huge part is we've been going against the same people for the last month, basically, in our own teammates. So to kind of see a different guy across from you, maybe some different moves, and just trying to tighten up all those little techniques and fundamentals before you hit the ground running when the season starts.
I believe the Governor's Cup is still on the line here. Is that a real thing? Do y'all get a Governor's Cup if you win the preseason game against the Texans?
I don't know that.
if that is a thing, and you actually see,
I didn't know what that was either.
Well, it was. I think the first one was in 2002, and then there was they gave it in 2013 too. So I'm just wondering if you get that cup, are you like, hey, I would like to pour something in that cup and drink out of it?
That's a good question because we do play them. I think basically every year in the preseason, but I do not know if we receive the cup.
See, I feel
We've
like
given him a lot of assignments.
I feel like this is a symbiotic relationship, though, because he's answering all of our questions and being super helpful, and we're giving him questions to take out back into the football world. Just what you wanted, homework.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so this is something that a lot of Cowboys fans have been curious about. It might be precautionary. We've had a lot of discussion about the swing tackle on the team. In terms of reps, do you get practice? Do you get reps at tackle? Like, how does that work?
No. We've got a bunch of guys. That's something that it's very exciting about our offensive line room. I think is our depth, and we've got some excellent depth. So, to answer your question, no, I've been taking my reps at right guard.
Would you not, if I know it's not a fun thing to talk about, but the fans do want to know, would you anticipate kind of the same system at times as last year where you would bounce back out to tackle if, unfortunately, there were another injury? Because when Lyle left practice, obviously, we freaked out a little bit.
Yeah, I think, obviously, last year was unique situations with all the injuries. But, again, I'm willing to do it, whatever it takes to help us win. And if something happens like that, then, yes, to answer your question. But, it's something, again, with our depth at tackle, I don't think we're going to need that.
I know, Zach, last year things were a lot different with the fans. Some fan bases not having as many as fans, especially as the Cowboys had in their stadium. But, that's coming back a little bit, and that's coming back a lot, actually. Who are the nastiest fans that you've walked into a stadium and been like, I just don't want to hear those fans again?
Oh man, I kind of like the hostile environment. So
okay.
the places like Philly and Philly's the first one that comes to mind. But it's gonna be nice to go back there and have the fans and kind of the animosity. And I always think that we rally when we go into stadiums like that.
Now that being said, Kevin and I, Mike, we've all grown up here. We've been Cowboys fans our entire life, so we understand. Do you think the Cowboys fans are nasty enough, or do you want to see more nasty out of them this year?
Oh, I think we got as good of fans as there is in the NFL. I mean, you should have been out in Arizona last week. The Cowboys fans basically took over the stadium, so we know we got support all around the country, and they get after it.
Our travel budget was limited. They sent us to California and now back here, and they're like, you don't get to go there as well. I'm sorry. Do you ever – I mean, I know there's so many people, and it's probably difficult, but in a game or before a game, have you ever heard a specific heckle or something, and you're like, I want to see who said that because that was clever? Or you're like, I appreciate that was a clever thing that you said?
Oh, man. I mean, not off the top of my head, but, yeah, I mean, there's definitely things people say, and you take a peek back on who said it. And the best are the repeat, when you go back to the stadium the next year, especially division opponents, and you see the same person sitting in the same seat every year. That's usually pretty good.
How much do you guys, because we've been watching Hard Knocks and everything like that, how much do you guys talk football, or how much do you talk, I guess especially college football, and start trash talking with alma maters and everything like that?
Can you ask that again?
Oh, yeah. How much do you guys just talk football in general outside of what's just happening on the Cowboys? And then how much do you transition into trash talking about college football and alma maters?
Oh, yeah. I mean, definitely when the college football season starts, it's a big point of conversation. But now, yeah, I mean, we got our hands full with what we got going on right now. So there's obviously a lot of talk about that. But there's obviously a ton of pride in alma maters in the locker room.
What's the scouting report for Notre Dame this year?
I think Notre Dame's going to be pretty good. I think they got some guys back. They got a young line, so it's going to be fun to watch those guys develop and get after it. And, I think they're going to be good again. We got a big matchup already with Wisconsin. We played Wisconsin at Soldier Field, so me and Biotic got a big week here in about a month. I think it's the start of the season.
Okay, you can help us out since you just mentioned Tyler right there. We have pushed, and we got Stephen Jones to agree that we would like to call him Tyler Badass.
Yeah, that's a
what do
nickname
you think about that nickname?
Yeah, I mean, I think people butcher his nickname enough, or his last name enough, so that works. Badass or whatever you want to go there.
I had somebody at practice in Oxnard that was a Rams fan. He's like, hey, How do you pronounce that guy's last name? So I definitely understand.
You were like, hey, we just call him badass, and they were like, yeah, that fits. He looks like a badass.
So now that I have wrapped up, I got to know, going back to kind of where we started, now that I've wrapped up Sopranos, clearly that was a great show. Do you have advice for me next on what I should binge watch, movie or TV-wise?
Yeah, I mean, if you're in that era, have you seen The Wire?
No, I haven't.
Yes.
And my producer's
I've been
furious with me about
mean,
this.
You can't. I mean, that's maybe close number 2. I mean, you can't go wrong with that.
Okay, but I've heard I cannot multitask while I watch that show. I need to be 100% locked in. Is that accurate?
Yeah. It's a little slower and locked in, but it's excellent.
And will his favorite character be Bubbles or Bunk by the end of that?
I'm a Bunk guy.
Yeah, Bunk's good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, what's the best season of The Wire? I used to work in a newspaper. Do you think I'll like that season of The Wire?
That's season 5. I like season 4 with the kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, we appreciate your time very much. And if you just want to call back in whenever, when you have all the answers to our plethora of questions, we would very much appreciate it. And in return, I'll start binge watching The Wire.
All right. Sounds good.
Thanks, Zach.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks for having me.